Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Spy Kids 3D Game Over. Now, as you know, Spy Kids 3D Game Over is a spy action comedy film, which was meant to be the third film in the Spy Kids film series, as well as being a sequel to Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams. So, I remember as a kid, having this on DVD and even watching it back at my primary school as a kid. And I think after getting the film, sitting down to watch it, I think it's not a bad conclusion to the original three films. So the premise of the film is meant to follow over a year after the events of the second film. We see how, Janine is kind of now retired from the OSS after the events of the second film. And we do kind of see him working more as a private investigator and doing freelance stuff. And you can kind of tell at the same time Janine doesn't want anything to do with the OSS. And it's clear that he's still bitter with them. We see how he gets an emergency call that a sort of new villain called the Toymaker has pretty much created this new video game and trapped Carmen in it. And we see how Janine has to journey it in, despite having a few grudges with the OSS, and also a now reformed Donovan Giggles, who does regret some of his actions only because of his wife's behavior over him. And you can tell over the film, you do see how Janine has to learn about letting go of the past, as well as realizing that family, as well as letting go of the past, still matters to him. And I think for the most part, I think the film isn't too bad. It goes with the whole game storyline, where you're gonna see the characters have upgrades, you're gonna have them have these power-ups and suits. And for the most part, I think some of the characters don't work. I mean, some of the characters do work, because, when you do have other players who come into the game to help Janine, I think their characters work because they're meant to be representative of how I think most people will have a sort of avatar that makes them look powerful, or trying to make them look big and tough. I think at the same time, I kind of think when you have one character known as Demetra, who is also thrown in, I think her character was only added in to try and forcibly give Janine a love interest. But I think what I give the film credit is having, Sylvester Stallone as the Toymaker. And I think the Toymaker's character does work, because, it's clear that he does regret some of his actions, and even does question if he's doing the right thing. And I think the point of his variants are meant to sort of help him keep some sort of moral, and more sort of helping him think if he's doing the right thing. And you can tell that, the Toymaker's not really evil. He just kind of is a misguided and kind of sad man who thinks he's doing the right thing. And I give the film credit, like, they don't try to forcibly redeem the Toymaker. It's clear that he regrets his actions, and you can tell that, Janine's uncle knows what happened between them wasn't his fault. And I think the point of, Janine's uncle, as well as the Toymaker, is meant to show how, that Janine's grandfather had finally let go of the past and wanted to kind of fix things with the Toymaker. I think the point of Janine slowly coming back to the OSS is him slowly realizing if holding a grudge and being revengeful is really going to fix anything. I know there's people in my life that I can't forgive, but I know deep down they thought they were doing the right thing, or wanted to believe that they were still in the right. I think it's like looking at the show Hell of Oz. It's kind of clear that Blitzo still has his life figured out, but you can tell most of the people in his life won't easily forgive him, and it's clear that they've either got fed up and annoyed with him. And you can tell he does want things to work, which just isn't going to work. I think the point of the other characters, like, Minion, Donovan Giggles, as well as Flu and that, have now kind of became part of the family now, and it's kind of also clear that, yeah, at the end, this is just basically Janine finally being back where he should belong, with the OSS. And it's clear that some characters do want Janine to come back into the OSS, but you can tell Janine just doesn't want to kind of admit that, admit that it was just his true calling, and that, yeah, sometimes holding a revenge and a grudge is never gonna fix anything. I think, well, it's not a bad final. It does feel like, yeah, it tries to wrap things up quickly. You know where characters are gonna realise their mistakes. Some characters have actually got things figured out. But I think this film definitely deserves a thumbs up. It fixes things over Island of Lost Dreams, and it does it better. And I think the first three Spy Kids films are not too bad, as I feel Spy Kids is responsible for bringing back the spy genre, and I think the 2000s gave us enough spy films to enjoy. So I think the first three do deserve a thumbs up. It's enjoyable, it's good, and something that I think helped bring in Totally Spies and Kim Possible. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.